Come over to check these beans. These are the ones that were hit by rotted beans and worms both. You can't come over here without seeing deer. Anyway, pretty muddy. I'll walk out here and have a look. Not quite as bad as they look from the camera and the road. But they're behind. Stands pretty poor. Looks like they've recovered from the worm. A lot of drowned out spots over here. Yeah, you guys can't see them. There's still deer down there. Alright, I'm gonna look some over here. Got 12 ear savers and steering cylinder kit and one lift cylinder kit for mine. $140 some for these two, $157 for 12 ear savers. Pulled that one over here at Oxford while I was here a little bit ago. We do have some variants there. 1628, 1636. This one weighs a lot more. Kernel count doesn't matter as much. All about the weight. Morning, guys. August 13th. Getting parts yesterday for my combine. We got some seal kits. I think I showed you that. Pulled my combine out this morning. It's about 6:45, and I've got that steering cylinder that's, let's see if I can move this a little. Steering cylinder that's, it was trying to seep. Well, I just pulled it out this morning and it left a puddle under it, so I'm done too early. Hand shelled some corn this morning already, 23.2. That's hand shelled. So, sun's pretty this morning. Anyway, so at least corn's cheap. USDA came out with that report yesterday. Match stone exit, they're 188.1 or whatever it was, which I believe is a fallacy, but if I was that smart, my corn would be sold already. And it's not. Let me flip you around. I had Silas helping me on one of those heads yesterday. This is for the steering cylinder. That's for the lift. My lift is not leaking, but I'm having it drop down. I don't know. I don't think it's in the valve. I started this morning and it's absolutely fine. It never dropped. So anyway, there's my puddle. And she's fixing to turn loose. That one over there, if you look back last year, it was 102. That one blew out in the field and leaked all my oil out. Alarm come on. So we're going to prevent that on this one. I was going to do it last year. Generally, when one goes, you know the other one's not too far. But so anyway, I may save this kit. Bob says I'm at 75. He's got one lift cylinder. There was a little puddle under it. So this one, I think all I lack is the gearbox, checking the gearboxes, and the snout's back on. I believe it's 100%. I'll have to run it to check those gearboxes. And this one, I didn't tape yesterday. I don't think much. I don't think any on this one. Silas and I pulled a few deck plates because this bolt was free spinning. And sadly, to be honest with you, I've never had a deck plate off, so figured out how to pull them off. Pretty simple. Had I known it was that simple, I probably would have pulled them all off, all three heads, and greased up that adjustment, but I didn't. So this one's welded back, chains are on, Same with this one. So those 2 row units are done. This one is welded. I don't have the chains on yet. It's not adjusted down. Those 2 are. And then I had to weld these 3. Got them in, tacked, not welded. I'm thinking about pulling the deck plates and standing them up to weld that, because I've got a pretty good gap where that plasma cut, and it's a little difficult to fill it laid down in there. So anyway, as soon as Silas gets out of bed, we'll get started at 23.2 on hand shell. It's going to sneak up on people, which I've said that for 2 weeks. This corn crop's going to sneak up on them. All right, guys, I'll let you after a bit. 10:15 Wednesday morning. Same morning I was just visiting with you. So we got to tighten up our tension on the rows that we rebuilt this morning. Silas has got one more chain to get on. And grease these. And then I think it's caught up with the rest of the heads, I believe. See if Silas can put a chain on by himself with the video running. A little more. Okay. Sometimes we take these off and put them on that way. They do go a little better, a little easier. Some of these fall right on. Some of them he struggles with. Just push it down here, Silas, it'll go. There you go. All right, we'll get the impact and the 15/16 and get all these adjusted. I keep whining about the heat, but it's getting there. Well, I turned the combine around. That's from where I took the hose off, but that is from the cylinder. So she didn't have much longer. I guess wheat harvest, it was probably not great, but I didn't catch it. Get her cleaned up. And like I said, last one, that one over there, I did in the field, and I couldn't get this end of it loose, so I just got this end loose, swung the cylinder back, rebuilt it on the machine, and made it work. So Silas is getting me an air hammer. We'll knock this off. So I couldn't get this end out. I don't know, maybe that's the way that was. One end to the other I couldn't get out. This one we had trouble. I smacked with a hammer, hit it with an air hammer on the bottom, and hit the top, it come out. On these you have to take the fitting out, slide them in. For the snap ring, you got to pry off, and then it slides out. Well, Silas just took off to go get cleaned up. I knew that was going to happen. That's ATF, not blood. We use ATF and Gleaner, the older Gleaner hydraulics. Said it cools better. They put a fan on this, blowing trash. Alright, that's all it consists of. A shaft. So this snap ring right here sits up in this groove. So you access it from that port, you pry it off into this relief, and then the barrel slides right off. And we've already got the new O-rings, or new seals in the barrel. We're going to slide it back on. Then you have to pry that O-ring, or that snap ring, back up onto that groove without going too far. If you go too far, it goes in the barrel and you start over. Alright. Silas isn't happy with me. He's got oil all over. Alright, Silas running off the back of the piston once, so we had to tear it completely back apart. And I got real lucky the next time. Got it on the piston. Put the fitting back in, put the bolt back on. That's done. Careful size. That's a lock nut, so you want to put this where you want it first. If it's too tight, then stop.
Where you want now?
I think it was probably about like this. Okay. Make sure your nut's tight. Okay, I'll get carried away. All right, we're gonna get her back together here. Well, my son called. He was doing a dirt job about 6 miles from this farm, and he needed me to bring his dump truck over. He had more dirt than he could waste on the job. So this one's an awful steep approach. I told him I know where we can get rid of it. This is the beans that rotted through here that I was just over here the other day and showed you guys that we sprayed worms on, etc. So we'll get this knocked down and we'll get out of here. Worked out good for me. I'll get this thing fixed. Much better than it was. He's just packing it in now. We got trucks in and out of there before. It just wasn't the easiest. Well, that 12-ton disappeared pretty quickly. Well, I hope I didn't have my phone upside down. Much better. Brent's loading back up. Not perfect, but we couldn't get a truck in here very well. We did it, but it'll be much better now. Good enough. For just wasting some dirt, it worked out. Done and out of there with that job.